Roo.
All right, we are live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's live stream. I'm just muting to check. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Yep, we're there. We're
On
there.
a
We're
stream
there.
without a Yanni echo.
Yeah. I just like to make sure that we comes through. Today we're super excited. We got Phil back. It is going to be a staple for Wednesday's shows, and that's why we've gone a little bit longer in the other groups, because we had some really good questions to answer that were related to injury management and rehab. How are you, Phil?
Very well. Good to be back on. It's been a couple of weeks. Yeah, always good.
Yeah, we do apologize if there's a bit of breaking internet. Phil, we're still figuring out how to get his internet to work in the country there, and it gets a little bit better every time. That's right, the deep south. We've also got Richie on, head UMS coach and all-round good-looking guy. I like to call him Clark Kent with the blue blockers on. How are you, Richie?
Good. I'm very good. Not much to say.
Very good.
Just good.
That's right. Okay, so let's dive in. We don't have too much to answer today, which is a shock. A shock. I'm surprised. But we do have a great question, a great comment or question here from. I'm just going to have a quick look at the. It's from Clay Conway, and we'll get to it in a sec in regards to his hamstrings. I'm just looking at the discussion on the back of Patrick's question about deadlifting. Thanks. It was an informative discussion for me and will likely lead to me changing how I do these. Yours looked great, by the way. Okay, good. And James Ryan, thanks, Patrick. Yes, it was a great discussion. Resetting at the top, but it increased weight and it did start experience lightheadedness. So I started resetting at the bottom. Also, it was harder to grip the bar. Yeah, good work, good discussion, and a great show yesterday, guys. It was. I felt like we gave some good insight into the concept of deadlifting and why we recommend to reset at the bottom while the weight's on the floor as opposed to at the top and touching and going or bouncing off the floor. Okay, I'll read out Clay Conway, and we're going to do our best because this is a really good one, and it just so happens that it came in 11 hours ago, right before we got Phil on, and we'll do our very best. If Phil's internet goes a bit funny, I'll do my best to just reiterate what he says. Okay. It seems I've got micro tears in my hamstrings, most likely from single leg good mornings. I'm very surprised because I tried to use caution and not bend too low. But I had the same problem last time I did phase 3. So apparently I have to use extreme caution and take a different approach with loaded stretching of hamstrings. Any advice would be appreciated. Yanni and Rad Bormeister, thanks. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here, and I'll give my 2 cents after we give Phil a chance to have a chat here. But Phil, just to open things up, my interpretation of this is, that I mean, micro tears, as far as I'm concerned, are quite
does he mean DOMs?
Well, this is what I'm a little bit confused about, because micro tears happen just about every time you exercise, right?
Yeah. So it depends how micro the micro is. So that's exactly how we get stronger, is we have a stimulus that creates enough stress to actually cause some micro tearing of the muscles, which then is a signal that those muscles have to get stronger. And it's very particular to contraction types. So lengthening under tension is a really common way to get these days to happen, which is why a great way of getting strong. But yeah, when you say micro tears, that could mean down to the basically almost nothing. But other people might hear that and think, oh my gosh, he's got a muscle tear and he's injured and needs to have 3 to 6 weeks off. But just want to clarify, I'm pretty sure it just means he's getting really bad DOMs after which means that muscle soreness.
Yep.
And
which is a
the way
good
you
thing.
differentiate between with DOMs, it's that delay, so it's going to stay. Whereas if instant pain after doing it or while doing it or feeling some kind of shifting, popping, moving, like tearing sort of sensation, then that's a different thing. So that's a bit of a self-diagnosis for you. If you're getting pain immediately while you're doing it versus a bit later or the next day, then that's probably where you differentiate.
So just to reiterate there, because you dropped out at the very start of that, what Phil said is the way to determine whether it's just DOMS or a more serious sort of muscle tear is whether you're experiencing it during the action of the exercise or later, like the following day or even 2 days after. I find that delayed onset muscle soreness or DOMS comes on for me in the lower extremities, meaning the legs, usually quite a long time after if I've trained really hard. So the next day I might actually feel okay. There might be a bit of fatigue in the legs, but then it's usually like the following evening or even the following day. So 2 days after the workout that I really feel it if I hit my legs really hard. But like to give you an example, when I experienced my recent hamstring tear at the start of December, I felt something instantly. Like I felt a popping or a shifting, and it was because I had my headphones in listening to a podcast. It sort of amplified the sensation. When you block your ears, you can sort of feel your heartbeat more, and you breathe, and you can hear or sense your heart, your breathing more, and things like that. So it really felt quite severe. But strangely enough, there was not really any pain or discomfort initially. And that kind of confused me. It actually meant that I tried to continue my workout, but as soon as I went into an elongated position, like bending forward and stretching the hammies, I could then feel that there was definitely something wrong, and there was almost a little bit of discomfort and pain. Now, keeping in mind, I'm quite desensitized to pain that is a result of exercise. I've been doing it for quite some time. But it wasn't, I called Phil on the way home. I continued and finished my workout. I just didn't do the lower body flexibility because it was an upper body workout I was doing. And I called Phil on the way home and said, could I have torn a muscle so badly that I detached it from the bone and I'm not feeling it? And Phil sort of laughed and said, look, wait until tonight and let's see what happens tonight. And lo and behold, in the middle of the night, I woke up and I couldn't walk. I was in so much pain. So it sort of came on as a bit of a delayed thing. But the key there is that I felt something go in the workout, and I actually got a little bit of nausea after it. Like my body just went, oh, that didn't feel very nice,
And
and
that's
so
to point out that feeling things is not always a bad thing. So having like clicking, popping, and your joints, knees, like if it's that standard sort of like call it crepitus, which is basically just like you hear the like cracking your knuckles sort of stuff, like that is totally normal, and that might happen during workout, and that's fine. Yeah, it's that kind of you'll know when you feel it.
This felt like when you've got a really strong Velcro and you tear it apart. That's kind of what it felt like. It was like, and it sort of like, it echoed through my whole body. And I kind of knew straight away that I'd done something really bad. What I was trying to determine is, because I didn't feel a whole lot of pain, I couldn't see blood coming to the surface or anything. I was like, wow, have I actually detached a hamstring tendon or something like that from the bone? Or, but then I was feeling it. I was what is it called? Poking it,
Yep.
palpating it.
Yep.
And usually you can feel clumping of a muscle if it retracts, if it tears completely. It will sort of retract up into the base of where it goes, and I couldn't feel that. It felt normal in my hamstring to the touch, and so I was like, okay, there's obviously just something going on there. But anyway, in Clay's specific instance here, it's really important that you understand that, if there's a weakness there, if there's an area of the body that has a very low capacity to load, then it's going to be extremely difficult to not feel some form of DOMS after stimulus. Would you say that's right, Phil?
Yeah, I think particularly like, Clay's a strong dude. He's been training for a long time. He's been following the phases. So like, it's not necessarily just a pure strength thing.
He did have quite a long time off training though. He's come back to it recently.
Yeah, the thing is that not all strength is equal. So basically your body adapts to what you spend your time doing. So if you've not done eccentric loading for a long time, but you've been doing lots of concentric or isometric loading, then your muscles will be adapted to that particular type of stimulus. And then doing something that is quite different to that is going to really, like, you'll load you quite quickly. You're likely and eccentric load some pretty intense DOMs pretty quickly. I've really noticed this since doing heaps of triathlon training at the moment. My legs are really quite strong from cycling. Like I'm, cycling up like long distances up ridiculous hills and feeling quite good. My legs are feeling strong, but cycling is a completely concentric loading of my. Went into the gym after a few weeks of not doing stuff in the gym. Did a squat session, and like that afternoon, I was like, oh, I cannot stand up. My body was just not at all used to eccentric loading. It was only used to concentric loading. So just to point out that you can be really quite strong and still get these really intense DOMs feelings. Just like anyone who's not run for a while will try and start running, and their calves will blow up and feel like they've got peg legs and can't walk on it because it's so painful. So it's really key that like that's a normal if you have been, but if you haven't been doing traction, then you're going to have a hard time. So to get past that, basically just taking it easy. Like when you're identifying you're doing a new style of exercise, start easier than you think, but stay really consistent with it to get your body used to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, the single-legged morning is no joke either. Like when you're just doing a standard Romanian deadlift with your legs locked out, knees straight, and you get to a decent range, man, you can get a serious stretch on. And if you're not used to that, you can get serious DOMs. And if you're doing a single leg version, you got to think now your body only has half of the muscle mass to basically pull yourself back up as opposed to two legs. So again, that load has increased naturally because you've taken a leg out. So again, you have to get used to that sort of way of training, and first start out light, less range, slowly progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a nice way to, if you want to kind of get your body used to like eccentric loading, and deceleration, which is excellent, then doing some like leg swing. So basically like a really dynamic stretch of where you're swinging your legs through. So you're standing with one leg and you're swinging the other one back and forth, getting a gentle hamstrings and your hip flexors. A really nice way of just being able to like more frequently throughout the week expose your body to a bit more range and like lengthening under a bit of tension, but without doing something that's really intense and painful. So I find that one's quite a nice one to get people into, and they haven't been doing. Like if you've been sitting, like I don't know, working from home or just sitting for long periods of time where your hammy shortened state always, one just lengthen things out. But obviously with the that's just a low load thing you can do, and then approach the strength and the mobility and the flexibility training as prescribed.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. Shout out to Patrick on the live stream. I'm just going to quickly run through and make sure that we don't have anything that I've missed.
Any questions from you, Patrick, while we're waiting? I'm just going to give my 2 cents around his deadlift thing yesterday. I really quite like the reset at the top for certain situations. It entirely depends, and I'd sort of say there's each sort of different way of doing it. There's different like rules to certain parts of the lift. I think I use that a lot with clients who struggle to figure out how to get that bottom position tense to ease them into it, and then I'll switch once they're getting a bit heavier, going for more like PB sort of stuff. Then we'll do reset at the bottom. So just to say that there's there's different reasons why you do different times.
Yep. Makes sense. Okay. Well, I don't think we've got any other comments or questions here. Patrick, been asking too many questions lately. No, you haven't. That's not true. It's good because everybody learns from good questions, and
exactly.
That's one of the key things about this group is that everybody learns from good questions. So keep them coming. Keep them coming, guys. Well, look, let's wrap things up there then, and we will see you all tomorrow. It's great to have Phil back on. Remember, Tribe, if you do have a question related to injury or pain management or pain science or rehab, tag Phil in there, and he will very much enjoy giving his feedback. And you can always book a consult or a treatment or a discussion with Phil at adpt.physio, www.adpt.physio, and we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see Phil next week.
See you in a week.
Thanks, guys. See ya.